Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. So, before we dive into today's episode, which is all about Kyle Richards reportedly going public with Morgan Wade, but what stopped her? And is this just more lies and fake news and trying to trick us, the audience, into thinking that we're stupid and that we don't see what we see? Okay? So before we dive in, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. So this is according to Reality Blurb. We'll go to the article and I will give you my thoughts. So Kyle Richard was reportedly ready to go public with her alleged romance with Morgan Wade during filming on the upcoming 14th season of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills when she came across upsetting text messages on the country singer's phone. Following the rumors of a supposed ultimatum from production, Kyle supposedly found messages between Morgan and another woman, leading her to remain secretive about the nature of their relationship. Kyle was ready to come out to the world until she saw text messages on Morgan's phone from another woman. Kyle flipped out as soon as she saw it, an insider told The Zone on Instagram on September 13th. Kyle was devastated and chose to keep this a secret from the cast going into filming. Although Morgan reportedly told Kyle that the person she was communicating with was only a friend, Kyle felt that it was something more. Okay, number one, who is this insider? Is this Kyle Richards' publicist planting fake stories and narratives about Kyle and Morgan? And you think, well, why would they do this? I'll tell you why, in my opinion. Number one, I never believed Kyle Richards and Morgan Wade were ever in a sexual lesbian relationship. I don't think so. I think that Kyle was going through it. I think Kyle needed a storyline. I think Kyle wanted to make Mauricio jealous. I think Kyle was acting out. And I think that Morgan Wade and her team wanted fame and publicity and money, clicks and views, tour dates, and all of that, which Morgan has gotten. Ever since Morgan, connected herself to Kyle Richards, she's going on tour with Alanis Morissette and all these other people. We all know her name. We're talking about her. Her Instagram has blown up. Her tour dates have blown up. She's on red carpets. So when you attach yourself to already an established celebrity in such a big public way, then your star also rises. So Morgan Wade really comes out the winner in this situation. I don't think her and Kyle are even in, I don't think their friendship is even genuine. I think it is from Kyle's end to a certain degree, because right after the filming of season 13, Kyle was on the Jeff Lewis show being like, yeah, Morgan's just like one of my friends who I text. Like, she was basically like, I don't really know her like that. And Morgan was like, yeah, Kyle stalked me and that's how we became, quote, friends and all this stuff, right? So it's always been weird. It's always been whack. I think it's always been a PR stunt, from both Kyle and Morgan's side. Now, the reason why I think now they're being like, oh, Kyle was going to come out with Morgan, but there was these text messages from these other women. This is a way to give Kyle cover for the fact that this has all been fake and a big PR thing, right? She doesn't want to really go public with Morgan because it's not real. And I don't think Morgan wants to go public with Kyle because it's not real. They tried to just end their little showmance, at the end of season 13, but then there was all this uproar from the audience right when Morgan was about to go on tour, right when Kyle was doing all of the, TV shows and Lifetime movies she's doing, right when Buying Beverly Hills was coming out. So they didn't want the smoke of the entire collective to turn on them if all of a sudden it's like, oh, you were just doing this for the show and now you two are going your separate ways. Because remember when Morgan deleted all of her photos of Kyle on her Instagram, Kyle was wearing a Umansky sweatshirt out here on the streets. Kyle was denouncing her on Jeff Lewis, all of that, right? So basically, it was pretty clear they were going their separate ways. But then they had to quickly come back together and do all of these, paid for photo ops, calling the paparazzi on themselves, all of a sudden to do damage control because we were onto them that it was fake and phony and for storyline and for clicks and views only, right? So I think that like the report is saying, production is like, well, listen, Kyle, like if you are out here playing in our faces in public about Morgan, you're gonna have to be honest about what's going on this season. I don't think Morgan wants to film the show. I don't think that Morgan wants to be on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She looks cringy thinking about it. She looks uncomfortable even being around Kyle. And again, I don't think they ever were in this sexual relationship at all. I think it was always fake and phony. Okay. And so now they're going to use this excuse. Oh, Kyle found text messages on Morgan's phone, and that's why she doesn't want to go public. Excuse me? Let's pretend that's the truth for shits and giggles. Let's pretend that's the truth. Wouldn't that be such an explosive storyline for Kyle? If she could be honest, I was ready to finally tell my truth to the world and come out as bisexual or as a lesbian or whatever the case may be. And then all of a sudden, my lover, the woman I'm with, betrays me. And I find these text messages on the phone while I'm also going through a separation from my husband. That would be such an explosive storyline. That would be such drama and tea and a crazy, life crisis that someone's going through to watch all that unfold and then have all that drama unfold between Kyle and Morgan on the show. That would be gold. That would be a storyline. That would be some juice. But to say that's the reason why she's not going public with Morgan is because she found text messages on the phone from another woman is bogus. If that actually happened, that would be great storyline. That would be great TV. Kyle being cheated on by her lesbian lover on the cusp of telling the world that she's gay. What? That would be insane. That would be the craziest storyline ever. But no, what are we getting for season 14? Kyle beefing and fighting with Dorit over Mauricio. Because that is who Kyle is still in love with, her husband. All of this stuff with Morgan was because Kyle was going through a midlife crisis and was having a breakdown and basically was doing the absolute most. And to be honest with you, Kyle is not my favorite, but my heart does go out to her. I do think she was going through something mentally and emotionally. I do think that the toll of all of the, rumors about Mauricio cheating on her took a toll. I do think the fact that her best friend took her own life took a massive toll and kind of opened up Kyle in a way that's very different because, you know, when you have such a loss like that, it makes you rethink your entire life, your entire existence. Now, this doesn't absolve Kyle of how dirty she's done other people, how dirty she's done her sisters, how dirty she's done, Lisa Vanderpump and other people on the show being like own it and exposing them and being a pot stirrer and all of that stuff. Her sisters, yes, she's done all that in the third 100%. Doesn't absolve her of that, but at the same time she is also still a human being, and I still can have compassion for someone who's gone through such trauma. So I think Kyle was going through trauma. I think she was in crisis, not really in this romantic loving relationship with Morgan, or else that would be the biggest storyline ever. But no, she's doing what the majority of us would be doing. She's beefing with her ex best friend who allegedly wanted to smash her husband, who allegedly wanted her husband sexually. So she's beefing with her this season because that actually makes the most sense. So I say all that to say this: Kyle, stop playing in our faces. Just drop the Morgan situation completely. Now you're out here on some African safari and we see photos of Morgan like in the rear view mirror and like trying to not be in the picture, but clearly they're on African safari together because Morgan's doing a tour there. Like, stop with the nonsense. Like, at this point, stop with the nonsense. Just honestly drop the whole Morgan charade in general. Just move forward, beefing with Ding Dong Dorit. Just move forward with figuring out your separation, divorce, not to divorce, win him back, not him, win him back with Mauricio. Just move forward with, going toe to toe with Sutton and Garcelle and Erica. Just move forward in that world, and let's just put this whole Morgan BS to bed. It's dry, it's tired, it's not giving what you think it's giving. We're over it. And at this point, we literally do not care and do not believe any of it. Just drop it. The jig is up. Let it go. But as always, I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. Do you believe that Kyle and Morgan were ever in a relationship romantically, or do you think it was always for, a big PR stunt? What do you think about the upcoming season? Do you think Morgan will appear? And do we care? So put it all down below. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share.